Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 329 of NoDQ&A video. And this is in fact the 5th straight edition of NoDQ&A video in a 1-week span. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on right now in the world of wrestling, a lot of releases in TNA, WWE coming off Money in the Bank and building up to SummerSlam. So I got a lot of questions here building up on Formspring, and I'm trying to get through as many as possible. I'll also be doing more text NoDQ&As this weekend, so make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the text NoDQ&As. And make sure you check out all of the NoDQ&A videos that I've posted this week, youtube.com/NoDQCW. Submit questions, formspring.me/Aaron Rift. With that being said, let's get right down to it. First one today comes from VE Mike X. Hey Aaron, big fan. What did you think of the Triple H versus Undertaker match at WrestleMania 27? The pay-per-view never looked good, but I thought it was a very good, solid match of those two beating the hell out of each other. I thought that match literally saved the show. That was one of the worst WrestleManias in WWE history when you take out that Triple H versus Undertaker match. The two of them had one of the best WrestleMania matches, period, and definitely at the top of the Undertaker WrestleMania matches. I actually watched that match a few weeks ago, and I still enjoyed it from start to finish, even though I had already seen the match and knew the result. It's just a very intense match, and it was fun to watch, and the two brought out the best in each other. And my personal opinion is I thought it was a much better match than the rematch the next year at WrestleMania 28 in Hell in a Cell. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I really enjoyed that WrestleMania 27 match, and it definitely was the highlight of that WrestleMania. All right, this one comes from Welly01. Hey Aaron, do you think we will see Undertaker and Kane versus the Wyatt family at SummerSlam? I think it would be a good storyline leading to Kane joining the Wyatt family. Please answer in video. Well, at this point, Undertaker's status for SummerSlam is still unknown, and I think that if Undertaker doesn't show up at SummerSlam, we'll most likely see somebody team up with Kane, or even just Kane versus Bray Wyatt one-on-one, which I think they might actually do if Undertaker doesn't end up doing SummerSlam. They could also put somebody else in there with Kane, do like a 6-man match, maybe throw RVD in there and reunite him and Kane together. So, I mean, there's several ways WWE can go with it. But yeah, definitely looks like at this point, Kane will be feuding with the Wyatt family for the time being. And, the Undertaker and Kane versus The Shield has been scrapped. It looks like they're going with Mark Henry and the Usos against The Shield for SummerSlam. So, they changed plans and are going in a different direction. But, it's a good thing to have the Wyatt family in a big match at SummerSlam. You just debuted them, and, this will be something significant for them in their first pay-per-view match. All right, this one comes from Ty Burns. Hey, Aaron, when do you see Damien Sandow cashing in? And if Orton cashes in after Bryan wins at SummerSlam, can you see Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title back at Night of Champions? And I got another question here regarding Damien Sandow. Why don't you like Damien Sandow? This is from Team Hell Punk. He's entertaining, a good talker, and good in the ring. First of all, regarding Damien Sandow, I don't recall ever saying that I didn't like him. I actually am very entertained by the character, and I think he plays the character really, really well. The thing about the character, as I mentioned before, my issue is that I think it's a mid-card character. I don't see it being in the main events. I just don't think it's going to have that longevity. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but, it seems to me like it's a better version of the Genius. It's a fun character, but, I don't know if he could be taken seriously in the main events. Now, I suppose it could change if WWE pushed him really hard. Maybe he could be like a second coming of JBL, where he can be a heel champion and dominate SmackDown. But to be honest, it would not surprise me at all if WWE put the world title on him and then he becomes the second coming of Jack Swagger, where the company doesn't push him as a main eventer, and he doesn't get over as a main eventer, and it just devalues the World Heavyweight title. And unfortunately, I think that the latter is what will probably happen if, in fact, he wins the world title, which is, of course, not a guarantee at this point. I mean, they talk about how just about every guy who wins Money in the Bank ends up winning the title. So, I mean, Damien Sandow could be the first person to actually be pinned or made to submit. They say John Cena was the first guy to not cash it in, but of course he didn't actually lose the match. So, wouldn't surprise me to see Damien Sandow be the first person to actually lose the Money in the Bank title match. All right, this one comes from WWE Fan 5. Oh, wait, let me go back to that other question real quick about when Damien Sandow might cash it in. I don't see it happening for a while. I think that, at SummerSlam it'll be most likely him versus Cody Rhodes. And if it happens, it'll probably be later in the year or maybe even closer to WrestleMania. I think WWE may wait it out and see if his character gets more over with the audience. So, I mean, they could be trying to figure out if, it's the right time to push him that hard or not to the world title. And as far as Randy Orton cashing it in, when he will cash it in, a lot of people are talking about the idea that Daniel Bryan would win at SummerSlam and then Randy Orton would cash it in. And you know what? I actually think that WWE might do something like that, because that would be typical WWE, where they would do something that would make everybody happy and then immediately do something to piss everybody off. And I mean, that would be the case here if Randy Orton cashed in on Bryan. Although a lot of people suggested the idea of Bryan beating Orton and then, Bryan beating Cena, and then Orton comes out and cashes it in and then loses to Daniel Bryan. But I would be shocked if Daniel Bryan beat both John Cena and Randy Orton on the same night. But you know what? That would definitely be a star-making moment right there. But I'm not expecting it, and I could see Orton either cashing it in at SummerSlam or a future pay-per-view. And as far as Daniel Bryan winning it back, I mean, I think if John Cena loses it at SummerSlam, I don't see John Cena being in the WWE title picture, at least until WrestleMania next year. So I could definitely see Bryan winning it back from Orton. I mean, that would seem like the logical way to go, to continue building up Daniel Bryan and give him a decent run with the WWE title. So, wouldn't surprise me to see Orton turn heel, cash it in on Bryan, and then Bryan win it back. Either Night of Champions or Hell in the Cell or one of those pay-per-views. All right, back to WWE Fan 5 now. Hey Aaron, now that Tara has left TNA, do you think we will see her back in WWE? I hope so, because she was my favorite diva before she left, and unlike most of the divas, she can actually wrestle. To be honest with you, I don't know if she'll be back in WWE as a regular performer. The fact is, she's into her 40s now, and when you're a diva and you're 40, you might as well be a male that's 60 years old. She's way past the age that WWE likes to push the women at. I could see her perhaps coming in as a trainer, and I actually think she would do really well in that role, helping some of the younger divas and training them, and maybe she could be involved with the WWE Performance Center for the women. I mean, I think she would be a good hand there, and being able to help out the younger the divas. So, I mean, I think there is a role for her in WWE, and I could see her going back in some capacity, but don't see her coming back as a regular diva every week on television. All right, this one comes from JMSVLSTRS. Hey Aaron, with rumors going around that WrestleMania will be in Santa Clara, California in 2015 or 2016, will you be making the trip up north? And what would you like to see in the main event? Please answer in video. Well, absolutely. If WrestleMania is in California, period, I will be there. Anywhere where I can drive to WrestleMania, I will go. I'm not going to be flying to WrestleMania, not interested in that. The driving's easier, it's less money. So I will definitely go if it's in Northern California, and that would be a lot of fun. As far as what matches I would like to see, I wouldn't mind seeing Undertaker and John Cena if they don't do it this coming year, or even Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker. Doesn't really matter to me as long as it's a good show. I mean, that's really all I care about. It doesn't matter what the matches are. It's how the matches turn out and the quality of the work and the booking and everything. So, I mean, if it's a good show, I really don't care what the card is. All right, and last question here today. Hey, Aaron, who do you think has had the best singing performance at WrestleMania? I'd say Limp Bizkit at WrestleMania 19. It made Undertaker seem like an even bigger deal, and it was just great in my opinion. I remember Limp Bizkit being decent as they brought Undertaker to the ring. I thought that was okay. You know, I didn't mind Motorhead doing the entrance for Triple H. Pretty much all the rock bands I thought were solid. You know, I actually liked Living Colour doing CM Punk's entrance at WrestleMania this year. I enjoyed that. You know, as long as they don't bring in the rap guys like P. Diddy or whatever, you know, I'm fine with the rock bands, and I think most of them have been decent. And you know, just it makes the pay-per-view more special because you have the band there actually doing the music live for the wrestler as he comes out. So I mean that definitely adds to the entrance, and you know, I think they should keep doing it for WrestleManias in the future. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video, the 5th one this week. So make sure you check out the other videos, subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCW. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest in WWE and TNA. And I will see you guys next time for more No DQ&A video.